Okay, I'm Vonnie Winslow Crist. I'm a writer of science fiction, fantasy, and horror. I write both fiction and poetry. Um, Poe has been a favorite forever, and I like the fact that he really does write a little bit of science fiction and fantasy along with his horror and dark fantasy, which not everyone pays mind to and acknowledges. So I kind of like that aspect of it. And I've had a dozen books published, including Dragon Rain, The Enchanted Dagger, and Beneath Raven's Wing. And I also write a lot of short stories, and I've had over 200 of those published in anthologies and magazines around the world. People just kind of look at a couple pieces of his writing. They tend to, you know, maybe the Fall of the House of Usher, Always the Raven, maybe the poem Bells, um, the Telltale Heart, a few of those. And if you read a lot of his other work, he is a I love words and uses wonderful language and wonderful imagery, and it's hard not to get wrapped up in it. Um, and so for me, a lot of his quotes are just wonderful, and so I kind of looked at those and thought, this is a beginning place for a book. And so using those quotes is how I actually began um, Shivers, Scares, and Chills. Well, I'll tell you, it was actually written for middle grade readers and up. So adults like it, young adults and middle graders, if they're very brave, I kind of say that. And I read a lot of Poe's work and started writing down the quotes that I found very kind of inspiring, and not necessarily inspiring like life inspiring, but inspiring for the beginning place for a story or for a poem. And there are 24 stories in the book and three poems. I felt I had to include both since Poe is famous for both of those things. And this is going to sound off the wall, but who knows? Maybe I'll be back in a few years to tell you more about it. I decided that I wanted to write a science fiction novel inspired by Edgar Allan Poe. And actually, the novel features for the protagonist a female space shuttle pilot and her sentient raven co-pilot Edgar. And each of the planetary locations is inspired by a locale from one of Poe's work. I've already used, I mentioned before, Silence of Fable, and it has a wonderful location, vivid description. It's a forest that's animated and poisoned, and a bog with hippo-like creatures and ruins, and there seems to be some sort of demon there. So I've used that for one of the locations of in the novel. I've also have an underwater world, which is used in various Poe work. And right now, I'm working on a location inspired by the Pit and the Pendulum, and it's going to be sort of a dark, dangerous stone structure on a mysterious planet. And obviously, they've got to either rescue someone or find something there. Edgar and his pilot.